T-O-R. Last name is Gordo, G-O-R-D-O, Mayor of the City of Pasadena. Let me first say on behalf of all residents of Pasadena that our thoughts and prayers are with those who have lost their home and even their lives here in Pasadena, as well as in Altadena and the Palisades. On behalf of all residents of Pasadena and the leaders that you see behind me, we will certainly have all those individuals and their families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. We have experienced a tremendous tragedy here in our community. To date, we have over 100,000 people under mandatory evacuation. We've had 5 fatalities, and then we have close to another 100,000 people who have been warned to evacuate because they are in a danger zone. Hundreds of homes have been lost. I'll let the police chief and the fire chief talk about that. But this is an opportunity for us as a community, as a people, to band together and work to support one another. Whether you're affected or not, please take the opportunity to help a neighbor, help a friend, check in on friends and neighbors, and certainly check in on family members. Here with me today are Councilmember Jason Lyon, Councilmember Justin Jones, Councilmember Jessica Rivas, my colleagues on the Pasadena City Council. Also with us today is City Manager Miguel Marquez, our Supervisor, LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, Congressmember Judy Chu, State Senator Sasha Perez, Assemblymember John Harabedian, the Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco, the President of Pasadena City College, Dr. Jose Perez, a representative from the Humane Society. Also with us today are neighboring Assembly members, Assemblymember Coloza, Assemblymember Nick Schultz. You'll also hear from Fire Chief Chad Augustine and Police Chief Gene Harris. So again, I just want to assure people that Pasadena is working in conjunction with our neighboring jurisdictions, including the County of Los Angeles, particularly the County of Los Angeles. Supervisor Barger and I had the opportunity to sit down with the Governor of California this afternoon, not too long ago, maybe an hour ago, and the Governor has assured us that he will provide whatever assistance that we may request. And so on behalf of Supervisor Barger and I'd like to thank the Governor for coming, seeing for himself the devastation and committing the Guard and other resources to Pasadena. And so we will certainly be in touch. With that, let me, and I'll go over these points in Spanish at the end as well. Let me turn it over to City Manager Miguel Marquez.
Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Marquez. Excuse me, Miguel spelled M-I-G-U-E-L, Marquez, M-A-R-Q-U-E-Z. I am the City Manager for the City of Pasadena. It's been a brutal 22 hours here in Pasadena. My heart aches for all who lost their homes, their memories, and their sense of security. About 22 hours ago, we first learned of a fire in Eaton Canyon. As they always do, and despite the dangers, our first responders rushed to the scene. They found darkness, they found fire, and they found 80-mile-per-hour winds. Air support was not possible under those conditions. Our first responders did all they could under those brutal conditions to put out the fire, putting their own lives at risk to save others. They battled through the night, with more and more joining the fight as the night wore on. Our police officers went door to door, ensuring as many residents as possible were evacuated to safety, including many seniors and those with mobility limitations. They saved many, many lives in the last 22 hours. Their efforts were heroic. Our first responders, our public works department who cleared the streets, Pasadena Water and Power, who kept the power on and the water flowing throughout the night. Public servants from so many different agencies came together in the last 22 hours to keep as many people safe as possible. Together, many, many lives were saved. The battle continues, as does our resolve. We will put out the fire, and then it will be time to rebuild. In this community, we may get knocked down, but we always pick ourselves up. Many thanks to our first responders, our city staff, our city council, our county, state, and federal partners, our education partners, our nonprofit partners, our business partners, our partners in the media, and most of all, our residents. Thanks to all for once again stepping up and doing what needed to be done to keep people as safe as possible in the face of danger. We will not relent. We will heal. We will rebuild. These last 22 hours didn't bring us down. They made us Pasadena strong. Thank you.
Next, I'll invite LA County Supervisor and our Supervisor, Catherine Barton.
As I was standing here, one of our Altadena residents came up to me who's very active in the Rotary, and he lost his home. I'm hearing this time and time again. And as the mayor told you, we went up and took a tour, and it is surreal. It is without words that I can even explain to you what is taking place, especially in my district in Altadena, but also in the bordering area of Pasadena. My heart is heavy, but I have to say, and the mayor is absolutely correct, we met with the governor, who also met with the president, and resources, both financial, but also resources for boots on the ground, are here, and we're going to continue to fight this fight. But I would ask people, please, 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 if you don't need to be in the area, we don't need you in the area. Recognize that when we drove up there, these are fires that are actively taking place as we speak. And there were many people that don't live in the area that just wanted to go up and take a look. We have fire personnel that is fighting this blaze, not only in Altadena, but also in the Palisades area. We need you all to work with us. And to those people that want to go up and loot, the full weight of the county will come down on you. And that's going to start with the district attorney, who's issuing a press release and is going to make sure the full set of the law is played out if you are caught looting in any area impacted by this fire. But I want to thank our first responders, who many of which have been on the line for over 24 hours. I think it's important for us to know that the chief of the LA County Fire has asked for resources outside the state, with the goal to let them go in and begin to fight the fires so that our firefighters can take a break and then start again. But again, I want to thank our first responders, but I also want to thank our state and federal partners, Congressmember Chu, Congressman Whitesides, who represents the Santa Clarita area. It's very reassuring to know that we have an all hands on deck, both at the state and at the federal level. And we will rebuild. And to my friends out there that have lost their homes, we are here for you as we look forward to what we are going to do to help you rebuild your life. So with that, thank you.
Next, Congressmember Judy Chu.
Hello, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I just got off the plane from Washington, D.C. My heart goes out to those who've lost their homes and their businesses. I've had friends tell me that they've lost their homes, and I can't believe the destruction that this fire is causing. But I want to tell you that this morning I was on the phone with the White House and with FEMA, and President Biden has declared this a national disaster. So now the mechanics are set for people to get assistance for recovery from FEMA. And also, FEMA was asked last night by the state of California to declare this eligible for the fire management grants, and indeed it is. So all the expenses that we see for fighting this fire will be reimbursed by the federal government. And also, I've spoken to Supervisor Torres of the San Gabriel Mountains. He's asked for help from Washington, D.C. to close the forest area. So I do want to urge everybody, please stay away from the forest area. I just urge everybody to make sure that you obey the evacuation orders, and that also you take advantage of the shelters that are available at the Pasadena Civic Center as well as the Arcadia Community Center. Our office is going to be ready to assist you in the recovery from these fires. And we know that there will be assistance from Small Business Administration, which has emergency loans, and there will be grants from FEMA. But right now, the most important thing is to be safe. So that's why I say to everybody, please stay out of these areas. Please make sure you obey the evacuation orders, and please stay safe.
Next, State Senator Sasha Renee Perez.
Good evening, everyone. I think this is a really difficult moment for many of us in the community, especially for those of us that have grown up in the San Gabriel Valley and who have come to know and love this community. As the supervisor said, we're receiving many calls from friends and community members letting us know that they've lost their homes, they've lost their businesses. This is a really devastating time. We just toured the site and there are still fires burning, and I want to emphasize to people, if you are told to evacuate, please evacuate. Please take these warnings seriously. I have family members that have evacuated, they have left their homes. I understand how difficult of a decision this is, but this is about safety, and safety first. We want to make sure that you all are taken care of, that you're taking care of your families. This is what is most important right now. It is incredibly dangerous for individuals to be up there during the time when there's fires like this. This is a very, very dangerous time, so please evacuate, get somewhere safe, make sure that your family is safe. Also, if you receive an evacuation warning, please make sure, if you have elderly neighbors, pick up the phone and let them know. We've seen a lot of senior citizens just here at the senior center that have been evacuated, and someone taking a moment to knock on the door and make sure that they were informed so that they're getting out of their home is so critical and makes such a difference. We know right now that there's a lot of folks that are struggling to have cell service when they're up in the foothills right now. We know power lines are down. And these fires are continuing to rage on. So, the state's doing everything that it can right now to make sure that we're allocating resources. We're moving firefighters from Northern California, from Central California to come here to fight this fire. There's firefighters coming from out of state. And so resources are coming. We're going to get this thing contained, but it is going to take time. And so make sure that you're staying away, letting our public safety officers do what they need to do so that we can get this contained. Thank you.
Next, Assemblymember John Harabedian.
Thank you, Mayor Gordo. For anyone who is a believer of any faith, please, we need your prayers. We need your thoughts of healing and anything that you can do to help our community. Many of our neighbors, our loved ones, and members throughout our community lost their lives today. And we are with you. We see you, we feel you, and we are going to help you get through this. As part of the state of California, along with our governor, our federal and local officials, our main mission now is to keep people safe, minimize any further devastation, and for those of you who lost your homes, who lost your property, who lost your loved ones, we are going to help you rebuild. We're going to do everything we can to fight for you every day, now, this week, over the next couple months and years, to make sure you get your life back. And that is my promise, that is the promise of everyone behind us. But please, stay diligent, heed the warnings of our
public safety officers, and please stay out of harm's way. Thank you to our men and women on the front lines, our first responders. We are not out of this. It is all hands on deck, and it's going to be a long couple nights still. So thank you to everyone who's helping these efforts, and please pray for us.
Next, Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco.
Good evening, and I want to echo the sentiments that our heart goes out to all of our families, our staff, our employees who have suffered losses during this devastating event. Behind me, you see the power of us, the city, the mayor, the city manager, our leader from the PCC, all came around the school district to help us provide for our families and our students. I saw many of my families here today who have lost their homes along with their staff. Thank you for being here with them, and thank you for supporting them. Our schools are going to remain closed for the rest of the week. We are continuing to assess the damages at our school. Our maintenance and operation team, along with our police department, the sheriffs, and our fire department have been assessing our buildings. Our preliminary assessment results show that the fire has substantially damaged 5 campuses. While most of them are in good condition, we have confirmed these 5 campuses in Altadena. Elliott's Arts Magnet School is damaged. Franklin Elementary, which was closed in 2020, has damage of about 80%. 3 campuses that house other schools have sustained damages: Edison, Loma Alta, and Noyes. Please note this information is preliminary. The fire is not contained, and some of our schools still remain in the path of the fire. We're working together with our city partners to do everything we can to preserve our schools. Our next steps are recovery. We're planning for recovery as we respond to the emergency, as we know our families are dependent on us. Public education is the bedrock of democracy. We learned that in COVID, and we will be here to help our families and our staff get through what is happening in our city. Thank you. We're deeply grateful for everything that you all have done to help and support us.
Next, President of Pasadena City College, Dr. Jose Gomez.
Hi, I'm Jose A. Gomez, Jose A. Gomez, Gomez. Over the last 24 hours, our hearts have been broken by what has transpired. We have lost our peace. Although Pasadena City College has sustained minor damage, our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts are with our greater community. We are so grateful at Pasadena City College for the incredible leadership that the city of Pasadena and all of our legislators and all of our elected officials have provided, not just to our college, but also to our community. The campus will be closed and we will not be having classes until next Monday. We will resume regular schedule and classes on Monday, if possible. Of course, it's a very fluid situation. But more importantly than that, we have activated much of our campus community in support of our partners and our greater Pasadena San Gabriel Valley family. Our emergency management response team has been deployed here to the convention center to help the city. We have our nursing staff who will be arriving soon to help our City Department of Public Health, and in partnership with our superintendent of Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Elizabeth Blanco, we are also serving meals to our PUSD families at Pasadena City College. We are here to help in any way possible. And we, of course, appreciate all of your support and all of your help. Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley has been an amazing partner to PCC, and we are here to be an important and critical partner to the communities that we serve. Thank you.
Next, from the Humane Society, Dia DeVernit.
I'm Dia DeVernit, President and CEO of Pasadena Humane. We're a nonprofit animal welfare organization and shelter serving Pasadena and 10 surrounding areas, including Altadena, which has been very hard hit by this fire. And our hearts really go out to all the people who have lost their homes and their pets in this disaster. We recently just heard from one of our board members who lost her home with her 2 cats in it. I'm sure we're going to be hearing more stories like this in the coming hours and days, but our primary focus has been over the past 24 hours to assist people who have been safely evacuating with their pets and need a place for their pets to go. So we've taken in over 250 pets in the past 24 hours, and we have been working today to coordinate with shelters throughout the state to help take the animals that are already in our shelter to make room for more animals who are coming in. I want to really thank everyone who has offered assistance, including the shelters around the state and people who we see in our community who are rescuing neighbors' pets and bringing them to us. It really has been heartwarming to see even our staff members who have been evacuated and are losing their homes coming to the shelter to shelter with their pets and take care of other people's pets. It's going to take a real community effort to recover from this. We've had lots of inquiries from people wanting to help. We're taking names of those who would be interested in fostering animals as we get more animals in. Right now, our primary need is monetary donations so that we can provide emergency services to pets that have been impacted by the fires. We are also providing food and other pet supplies if anyone is in need. And we really encourage you, if you are evacuating, please make sure your pet has identification. Take pet supplies with you. And if possible, please try to stay with family or friends who can accommodate you and your pet, as the shelters are really becoming quite stressed in this situation. I want to give a few concrete resources because they have been rapidly evolving. For those in the foothill areas who have horses in need of shelter, right now the Fairplex in Pomona is taking them, the Industry Hills Equestrian Center, and soon LA County will be opening the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds. We've heard that the LA Equestrian Center, where horses have been kept, is currently being evacuated. We have recently started to see the first injured animals coming in. We've had a cat and some wildlife coming in. If you do find injured wildlife, we'd like you to call our wildlife helpline at 626-344-1129. We're very thankful to our skilled veterinarians who are providing care to these animals, and we'll continue to provide care around the clock to animals in need in our community. Thank you.
Next, because this is still an active fire with very little, if any, containment, I think it's important to hear from the fire chief, and our fire chief is here with us, Chief Chad Augustine.
Good afternoon. My name is Chad Augustine, your Pasadena Fire Chief, CHADAUGUSTIN. I'd like to give you a current stat on our Eaton fire. We can confirm that the Eaton fire is now over 10,600 acres at 0% containment. I'd be remiss, though, if I didn't highlight some of the heroic actions last night by your public safety, police, and fire, who literally saved lives, pulling people out from burning buildings, getting them out of streets and vehicles where they had no ways to evacuate. Our death count today would be significantly higher without their heroic actions. We currently have 60 strike teams requested and 750 firefighters working on this incident. We're in a unified command with multiple agencies to include Law, LA County Fire, LA County Sheriff, and Angeles National Forest, along with Pasadena Fire. We have strike teams committed from all over the state and as far as Arizona coming to assist us. Multiple structures have been damaged or destroyed as this wind-driven fire had wind gusts of 70+ miles per hour. We had spotting of embers 2 to 3 miles ahead of the fire. I can confirm tonight that we have somewhere between 200 and 500 structures damaged or lost. We really need, as it becomes safe to do so, and we get a better handle on this fire, we're going to be able to, we need to come in and be able to survey the damage to get an exact total of number of structures that have been damaged or completely lost. We continue to be in red flag conditions, and we expect that to be through Thursday with variable and high wind speeds, thankfully not as strong as what we saw last night. We are encouraging people to stay updated as the weather can continue to change very rapidly. Please, if we issue an evacuation order, heed our request. Be prepared, have your go bag, and immediately evacuate. Thankfully, the current forecasts allow us today to start getting aircraft in to fight this fire. Since around 10 a.m., we've had aircraft doing water drops. With the goal of limiting the fire spread, we will come behind those water drops with hand crews and fire engines to get a containment line around this fire. We expect, with favorable conditions over the next couple days, to start making good progress on this fire. And with that, I'll turn it over to the police chief.
Chief, can we take a question? The statistics and the current situation with you have your firefighters, how are they holding up for the past 22 hours?
Yeah, they're exhausted. We need those reinforcements coming in, but they've done incredible work. Where they've, an example is crews that fought 15 house fires over a 28-hour period. They didn't save any of them, but they prevented 2 or 3 blocks away from burning down. So great work, not just from your Pasadena fire, but throughout this entire region.
Chief, can you talk about strike teams? What's the status of that? How long have people been?
Great question. So we have multiple strike teams have arrived. We're in the early 15-ish strike teams, and we expect over the next 24 hours we'll be close to 50. Even some of the Arizona strike teams should be here by this evening.
Can you talk about resources being stretched? I know that this morning, with some of the fires, there were maybe 1 or 2 firefighters on scene only because it appeared not to have the resources. Everybody stretched to the limit. Can you talk about that situation?
Yeah, sure. I would be kidding all of you if I said we didn't have resources stretched yesterday. Right? It's a rarity that you have 2 major brush fires in LA County, like we did yesterday with the Eaton fire and the Palisades, let alone the multiple other fires that we saw. So we had an extreme drawdown from with LA County Fire, and they are our biggest partner. Even with their drawdown, they sent us a lot of resources last night, which was really helpful. It's unfortunate with the wind gusts that we had, up to 70-mile-an-hour winds, they had to ground their aircraft last night. But we really relied on all of LA County to bring us resources, and then with the mutual aid requests from up and down the state. Did that answer your question?
Yes,
thank you.
One more. I wanted to ask about you were inside the fire zone and multiple residents have talked about a lack of water pressure or lack of water at all trying to fight fires. There's a similar situation in the Palisades, and they said it was due to the amount of water usage at one time. Is this what you were seeing? What was the situation there? We saw it firsthand as well. Why was this the case? Is this going to be a problem for?
Yeah, when you have multiple fires, multiple city blocks on fire, with I'll throw a number out, 100 fire engines flowing water. We are gonna stretch our water system. On top of that, we had a loss of power temporarily, which impacted our water system. But I'll be clear, we could have had much more water with those wind gusts. We were not stopping that fire last night. Those erratic wind gusts were throwing embers for multiple miles ahead of the fire, and that's really what caused the rapid spread of this fire.
Sir, where is specific the fire start? The most specific, because it's a picture taken approximately 6:30 last night, like a transforming fire in around Canyon.
That's correct. The time that is correct, and around 6:30 was when the fire came in the Altadena area. It was actually in LA County, but right on the border. We had both Pasadena and LA County resources arriving almost simultaneously, and then of course the fire quickly moved into the Pasadena city limits.
So 10,600 acres on fire, 0% containment, 500 homes destroyed. What can you say?
Yeah, what gives me hope is when I look at the trees and bushes around here. Last night was incredible, right? It was like something that most of you have probably never seen. Tonight we have very mild wind conditions where we can get aircraft and a ton of additional resources getting their hands around this fire. That's what gives me confidence that we're going to get a handle on this fire.
Chief, can you talk about the cause of the fire?
Why don't we bring the police chief up, and then then you can ask questions of
Can I
both
just finish
chiefs.
just one question? Can we talk about the cause of the fire and if there are other, because we know that there are several fires burning, are any of these connected, does it look like? Could they be arson?
The cause, you're going to love my generic answer, but the cause is under investigation, right? We have multiple fire investigators as well as fire and arson investigators from LA County and local resources investigating that. We need to let them do their good work so that we can come up with an accurate cause and origin.
We'll ask the chief to stay here for more questions, but in the meantime, because this also involves a public safety situation and neighborhoods that have been evacuated, homes, the message I want to reiterate is don't even think about it. Don't think about coming to loot any of these properties in Pasadena or Altadena, because the Pasadena Police Department, as well as the LA County Sheriff and resources from the state of California, will be out there patrolling and protecting these neighborhoods. With that, I'll turn it over to our police chief, Eugene Harris, to provide you more facts and details.
My name is Gene Harris. I am the police chief for the city of Pasadena. Gene is G-E-N-E. Last name is Harris, H-A-R-R-I-S. Last night at the beginning of this incident, first responders from the city of Pasadena responded to the area of this event primarily on a safety mission. But when they got there, they rapidly found an escalating fire that was growing rapidly with the wind gusts, and it turned into a rescue evacuation scenario. Those first responders acted heroically by going in and either evacuating or evacuating or rescuing numerous folks that are now housed in this building behind me. It was nothing short of heroic, and as they got there, it rapidly turned into that type of mission. So we had people from our police department, our fire department, certainly reached out into our Area C partners, local, state, and county folks that came to assist. And it took all night to get folks rescued or evacuated from their homes, and that effort was robust in that end. We also reached out beyond our county into other counties. We had some other agencies roll assets to us that could help us solve this problem, and they are still on scene at our command post as we speak. As you heard said, this is an active scenario from a law enforcement perspective. You heard all of the fire circumstances and issues. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we in law enforcement are doing in this incident. As I said, it started out as a evacuation rescue mission. It is now going to transition for law enforcement into a protection and community safety mission. And we will be staunch in protecting the community and protecting the homes of those folks who've had to be evacuated. We will have numerous folks in and around the area upwards of 150 officers at any one time in and around the city, handling all of our regular patrol efforts, but certainly focusing on making sure that the homes and the property around the burn area is secure. We will be staunch in that effort. If you have, and this is a message to the community, if you have a righteous reason to be there, declare that reason to law enforcement personnel and we'll assist you. If you don't have a righteous or legal reason to be there, expect to be challenged and we will deal with you accordingly. The idea here is we want to make sure that we protect the people in this community, we protect the sanctity of these people's homes, and we will do that without fail. As you heard the mayor say, don't come here if that is the mission, if that's what you plan to do. You will run into somebody in one of these uniforms and we will take care of that situation. So ensure that we are going to be staunch and very stern about the way that we're conducting this protection mission. I want to end it by simply saying the first responders in this city are second to none. Those partners that responded to help us really stood up, and you've got some really good elements that came out here to support this community and make it safe. So we will have ongoing and sustained operations. There will not be any lessening of operational capability for emergency services. We might find that some of the regular services will be out. We've put some information out on that for social media and on the media to make sure that people understand that we may not have the counters open and some of those things for regular services. But all emergency services will be dealt with without any lessening of services or impact. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Now we can open it up to questions from any of our speakers that you may have. I can do Spanish now, or we can do one-on-one.
Mayor, we asked the chief about the looting situation. Those instances of looting, did that happen here at the Eaton fire? I mean, what was the situation there? What makes you speak so forcefully about any activities that might happen at the fire?
Well, the forceful nature of my delivery is really designed to impact what our caring is for this community. It's a community caring mission. We haven't had any incidents of looting, and we don't want any. And so the message is, don't come here if that's what you plan to do. You're going to run into one of us, and we're going to be staunch in that effort. So we haven't had anything yet, but we're trying to expect the unexpected and get in front of these types of things.
Any other questions for Chief Augustine?
Chief, there were a number of significant spot fires that broke out not only in the hills but along Lake Avenue, for example. Several buildings suddenly caught fire at once. Do you anticipate any of that tomorrow?
I do not. Right, well, we're still in a very active incident, right? And we have a dynamic fire that has 0% containment. But what caused a lot of last night's issues was the dynamic winds. Wind gusts to 70 miles an hour and very erratic winds. 2 in the morning, they changed direction heading westward, and we ended up having evacuations all the way to Glendale. So do I expect a risk of fire spread tomorrow? Yes. Do I expect erratic fire weather like we saw last night? No.
Chief, can you elaborate on how far those embers were going and how much that contributed to the spread of the fire?
We can confidently say those embers were spreading ember cast 2+ miles, right? And we were in red flag conditions, right? And just acknowledging that we're in red flag conditions in January, right, should make us all pause. And so the humidity was so low last night that a single spark could cause a fire. And then you add in the wind gusts, and when I was driving to the fire last night, there was fires, dozens of fires starting just from the embers that were being thrown blocks, and miles ahead of the fire.
Chief, the owner of the London Museum told us on our air on CBS that the fire hydrant in front of his museum was dry and that firefighters couldn't get any water. Are you sure that all the hydrants are working? Is that a water pressure problem? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can't comment on that specific instance because I don't know the facts of that, but I can tell you that it's very common in a brush fire in a city when you have that big of a fire with that many resources that we're going to tax our water supply and our water system. Then if you have a loss of power, which may impact the pressure, it's going to make it even worse. So Yes, all of that. We're going to struggle on water supply on a very, very large brush fire like we saw last night, with multiple structures on fire.
Do you feel that you got enough help, enough mutual aid with them? Did it arrive fast? Did it help?
Sure. What was great, if there was a positive thing from yesterday, is we were preparing for a wind event for multiple days in advance of what happened last night. We were preparing for a wind event as well as possible brush fire, but you had augmented staffing all over the county, and which really benefited us because we were able to be nimble, send resources to Palisades Fire early in the day, and they were sending us resources by the evening time. That's the benefit of the mutual aid system in California, specifically LA County.
You know, as we're speaking right now on our air, we're showing live pictures of the house that burned to the ground.
Yes.
These are images that you and everyone that has seen all day long. What do you say to watching this happen?
We grieve for them, right? We're incredibly sorry that they have a loss of, for many of them, everything they own, right? And it's tough as your fire chief. That's my responsibility. I also know that last night was unprecedented conditions where we did a lot of good work, but we were not able to save every residence or building that was out there.
Mayor Gordo, on that same note, how surreal is it get inside this convention center many times before we have different events, but to see it being utilized this way, more than 1,000 people are now using this. Looking forward, what are some of the biggest needs that you think in the days to come that you'll meet here for the folks that are evacuated?
Well, you know, first and foremost, you know, it's very sad to see families dislodged, particularly families that have lost their home, and as the chief says, have lost everything. I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be to transition people who have lost their home into permanent housing. You know, we have hundreds of homes that have been destroyed, and moving people into permanent long-term housing is definitely going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge that we're going to engage the county, the state, and the federal government in.
Has there been any contact information or website or phone number set up for the missing person? So if a family member, someone in the area is evacuating families out of state or out of county, how do we contact them?
Well, the standard 911 will be efficient enough to get us to the numbers that we need to get you. I would suggest that you make that call. To me, that stands to be an emergency, so let's do that. You can also contact our business line, and we can get you to the right people that can guide you in. If you think that your folks are at our evacuation center, which is right here behind us, we have plenty of staff that are here that can help you ID any family members or friends that might be here.
What's the business line?
I don't know that off the top of my head, unfortunately, but you can get that on our website.
Okay, this again, to all affected residents, know that your city, your county, and other resources are there to help. If you need assistance, please reach out to us. You know, Pasadena and its residents and Altadena, it's a resilient community, and I'm sure that we'll bounce back. In the interim, this is an evolving situation, and so we're asking people to listen in carefully to what the police chief, the fire chief are saying. If you're asked to evacuate, evacuate. If you're thinking about coming to Pasadena or Altadena, for that matter, to cause problems, the LA County Sheriffs will be there to get you, and you will be arrested if you're engaging in conduct that you should not be engaging in. With that, that will complete our, unless there are other questions. Thank you.